Okay, I'm starting this a little bit early today because I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I guess maybe everybody knows this, but I've just been partnered for like a little while, like since like last month. But you get paid on the 21st. I mean, I guess they said it could be the 21st to the 26th, but I think it's the 21st because anyway, I got paid today and I know I was going to tell you what I got paid. So it was just a little bit over $400, which to me, that's a lot. That's like really helps because you got to keep in mind, I'm fighting all these legal things right now. Like just the copyright people alone is over 150 a month. um, just on one of them. Um, so yeah, maybe one day we'll get some repairs done around here. Let me get my toilet fixed. Anyway, the point is, I did get paid today that, so I'm gonna treat myself to Applebee's tonight, $10 burger and fries. So, um, I yeah, I don't really usually treat myself out to the pickup, but uh, and I hadn't eaten today much except I did take I have my coffee. I'll have coffee there. My protein shake with my vitamins because I don't know if you see that from where I took my blood today. Oh my God, it was 3 vials. And she told me just look out the window. And it came out. I told you, like, I have no veins. I told you, like, look at my arm. Like, there's no veins there. They make you like squeeze really hard, but anyway, it comes out so slow on me. Like, I don't know if you guys get yours done, if it comes out faster, but it was come so slow and it hurt. It felt like it was like chopping up my veins. And I so slowly as I look out the window, I'm like, I'm sure I'm making like every like horrible face like in the world. um, but I did get that done and then I canceled my appointment for tomorrow because for with a doctor, well, I rescheduled it because I thought, you know what, I don't know if that's enough time to get the results that I went today and my appointment was going to be tomorrow. So I had to reschedule. And like if you don't, like if you don't, like if you don't change it like soon enough, they charge you $50. At least it used to be $50, so it might be more now. They might have inflationed it. So yeah. Um, what else? Just took a while for I kind of had to sit in the car because I was just like, oh, wow. And I had a package to bring to the post office that I wanted to drop off, just a foundation I sold. So uh, my hair is wet. It looks so neat. Got this, these are Victoria's Secret shorts, vintage, but this is just some like bowl top. I don't know. I may take it off. But anyway, let's get back to the book so I can get a burger after. Uh, Ow, my knee is still messed up. My arm is still messed up. So let me crawl over in the least what is the word sauntering cat like way possible. Uh, okay. Pull you guys up. Okay, so if you all remember where we left off yesterday, um the dad was using again, which is not shocking. Like that, I guess like there were signs. Someone wrote me like, yeah, there was like looking, you know, they were speculating like that he was spending all the time in the bathroom. Okay. So but I've got to tell you, I totally disagree with this whole, we're going to take him to the methadone clinic and like, it's all going to be all right. No, you have a baby, a heroin user in your house. You know what heroin users known for? Hi, Arthur. Hi, everyone. stealing, lying, bad decisions, so you don't know who the hell he could be bringing over there. Like, I understand, like, you wanna think the best of him, you got a son, and it's like, I'm not one to be like, "Oh, mommy shame, you gotta be the most perfect mom," but there's a couple things. When you have a child, you have to be really careful about who you're dating, like, who you're bringing around to them, and, for the same thing as, like, who's around the kid. There's a reason why, what do they call, daycare centers don't call themselves, like, Crack House Incorporated. Like, parents don't parents don't want that around their kids, so my short's coming up. Alright. So, all I'm making light of this, totally disagree. Totally disagree with them. Okay, but we're gonna finish off this chapter and then on to the next. Well, we'll see, hence the name of my stream. Margot said they had to start the methadone at a low dose because the whole point of it was that if it was that it stayed in your system for an incredibly long time. If you titrate it up too fast, you might accidentally OD. The doctor had explained that Jinx would probably start feeling withdrawal symptoms that evening. It wouldn't be nearly as bad as the night before, though. He could come at 5 a.m. when they opened for his next dose. It would take at least a few weeks before they titrated up to a perfect dose, enough to keep cravings at bay and manage Jinx's pain without making him a zombie. But it was hope. They were both underslept and exhausted, but it was hope. You know what I want to do? Jinx asked as they climbed out of the car. He was smiling and his skin looked normal, and Margot could not stop herself from smiling back at him. What? I want to really get into making bread, like aggressively into it. I mean, go fuck yourself. Like at that point. Oh, really? I thought you want to make bread. How about you know what you should want to do? Like get off the damn drugs. Okay, now you're just trying to make yourself indispensable, Margot said, reaching to take Bodhi from him. No, it's okay, Jinx said. My back feels good right now. Margot looked at him. He didn't seem high and was steady on his feet in that moment. Margot could not think of a single price she wouldn't be willing to pay for her dad to smile at her like that on the sidewalk. Bodhi perched in the crook of his arm, looking around the dazzling morning like a somber little owl. She tried not to think about the weeks and weeks that Jinx had been lying to her, getting high, and she hadn't even noticed. She tried not to think about what that meant after those dark air bubbles in the past. After you, my sweet, he said, gesturing her to the door of their building. She stepped forward and opened it, then held it for him. After you, my meat. There is a desperation to a novel that is unsettling. The world so painstakingly recreated in miniature, this tiny diorama made of words. Why go to all this trouble to create me, to seduce you, to enumerate so many different breakfast cereals, to make the cunning tiny friends family for the first time, and discovering they are all paid actors? It's almost easier to believe I'm real than to understand actually going on. The desperation that could have caused anyone to invent me in the first place, the urgency and need that would require creating an imaginary space of this size and level of detail, And it really makes you wonder what kind of truth would require this many lies to tell. I have no idea what she means by any of that. Chapter 21. When I called Ward that afternoon and explained the Jinx methadone situation, he freaked out. Drugs entering into this is bad news, Marco. It will screw up everything. I wanted to believe that if I explained the moral conundrum, Dr. Sharp and Mark and even the judge would understand. Would you? Would you give your baby to Mark, the father, knowing that he's with a woman or has a woman there, maybe his mother or whatever, that's doing heroin? No, you wouldn't. So why do you get the special treatment here? You wouldn't be okay with anyone. Wasn't it the right thing to do to help a family member struggling with addiction? There's different ways you can help, but honestly, it's their own. They have to they have to hit rock bottom and they have to want the help themselves. Wasn't he in a treatment program actively attempting to recover? Well, like you kind of made him go into it though, and so uh, uh why should it make me look worse to be helping him? Addiction wasn't contagious. No, Ward said. It's one too many things. You have your age, you have the OnlyFans, you have the pro wrestling stuff, you add drugs, it starts to look real bad. I knew what Ward meant. He meant it made us look like white trash, which we were, which I'd always known. What should I do? I asked. I mean, if I were you, I would lie. You would? Not outright, but don't bring it up. What do you have left? Just the home visit, right? Jinx doesn't even have to be there for that. You could say he's out seeing a movie. If they were looking for drugs as an angle, maybe they would figure out he's registered with the methadone clinic. But I'm not even sure with HIPAA if they have access to that. In fact, I doubt it. How many people know about Jinx's relapse? I mean, right now, just me. I would keep it that way. And when you do that home visit, lie your little ass off. Pretend the relapse never even happened. Do you think you can do that? I think so, I said. I mean, I wasn't Cheyenne and Jinx's daughter for nothing. Lineage wise, I was practically falsehood royalty. How many times had I pretended my own grandmother had died? JB was coming that Friday. A fact so exciting and scary, I almost squealed every time I thought about it. By Thursday, Jinx seemed relatively stable, and I knew I couldn't wait any longer. Like, is he coming to the house? Because I feel like if I was her, I would want to like go to like a nice, doesn't need to be like super nice, but just like a hotel, like where he would feel comfortable, and have the baby have like childcare so you guys could like hang out for a while and like then introduce the baby because it just seems weird, especially for like Susie too. Like you're just bringing him to the house, but I don't know. And also, I don't know, like with your dad there, I don't know. We'll see. I started seeing someone, I said. We were at the park with Bodie, pushing him in the little bucket swing. I stood behind with Jinx in front and periodically pretended to be a monster who wanted to eat Bodie's fat little legs. Bodie shrieked with laughter. Jinx looked skeptical. Who? You know that guy I was writing long messages to? Oh, Margot, no, he cried. We went back and forth for over an hour. Me explaining, Jinx objecting. First at the park, then at the waffle shop, then the apartment. I tried to be patient. I'd known it would be like this. Jinx was convinced JB was going to grapes and murder me. Finally, I had Jinx read the portrait JB had written of his mother. He sighed when he finished reading, handed my phone back. Well, that's very compelling. Yeah, but that's also wasn't meant for your dad to see. Like, that's kind of not right to share that with, like, you know what I mean? Because even if it's true, I said, the sensibility to make up a lie like that, or even if it isn't true. I don't think it's a lie, Jinx said, but you're right. Even if it was a lie, your typical murderer slash rapist wouldn't make up this lie. I nodded, happy and reassured that he knew what I meant. I am perturbed, Jinx said. I'm really of two minds about this. What are your two minds? Well, I mean, I worry. What if this guy tries to take advantage of you? He sees that you do all this stuff online. Maybe he'll get ideas. I guffawed. Dad, I mean, you know I've had sex before. Well, yes, I'm aware. I wasn't sure what to say. To me, it was obvious JB was coming to have sex with me, that it was the whole point, really. If things went well, obviously. And I wanted them to go well. Well, then get a hotel room. The other part of me is just delighted to see you this happy, Jinx said. You should get to have that. You should get to be young. I can remember that feeling when you're smitten and can't think about anything else. He smiled, his eyes far away. You don't have to be any certain age for that. Like maybe if you got off the drugs, you would think about something else. Were you smitten with Viper? Jinx came back to himself. We were lounging on the pink couch, stuffed full of waffles, Bodhi asleep on my chest. Viper was a much sadder situation. I waited, though it didn't seem he was going to explain. Was Viper her real name? I asked. Oh, I assume not, Jinx said. I don't know her real name. She was an escort. I was, I'd started using again, and I was hiding it from Cherie. So I'd go on these, quote, business trips and basically have a bender. Where would you go? I was afraid of what he would say, but I also wanted to know. Oh, I went to a town about 30 minutes from us that had a La Quinta, but it's not very fun to do drugs all by yourself. So I called one of those escort services and Viper came, took one look at me and said, you better share. We wound up spending a lot of time together. This is the guy that thinks he can give you advice on who to date. It was also banal, so much more ordinary than I had imagined. I remembered the way he had been when he was high, imagined him and Viper eating Milky Ways together in the La Quinta, probably watching old wrestling matches. Why do you think you have such a hard time being faithful? I asked. Because in some ways, it was the question of my whole life. His inability to be faithful was why I'd been conceived at all. Jinx had broken hearts, ruined marriages, alienated his kids, all for sex? It was almost easier to understand the drugs. Validation, ego or lack of ego, very low self-esteem, uh, these sorts of issues. Jinx sighed, seemed to really consider it. I'm not sure any of it was about the actual sex. I guffawed again. What was it about them? Jinx was rubbing his chin over and over like it was sore. I get lonely at night, and women are, like soft, I said too loudly. Luckily, Bodhi didn't stir. Look at it this way, Jinx went on. If you're feeling awful and hollow and lonely, do you want to go out and do coke with Shawn Michaels and get into a bar fight when he uses the N word? Or do you want some giggly redhead to tell you her whole life story while you eat ice cream on a hotel bed and then cuddle you with her soft boobs? My God, I said, do you think we weren't lonely? You and Cheyenne? You and Cheyenne had each other, he said. I wanted to say that we had failed in a crucial way to connect, yet in so many ways it felt like Cheyenne and I, even though there were so many things we wanted and couldn't have, were the lucky ones. And Jinx, who always did exactly what he wanted, no matter who it hurt, had never managed to enjoy his life. I'm sorry, he said, looking over at me, his brown eyes sad as a noble dog's. It's all right, I said, because in the scheme of things, it had been. It was a relief getting to ask these questions. I had always imagined my father as having these dark, unfathomable urges for sex, drugs, violence. It was better in a way to understand that what he really wanted and needed was for the pain and loneliness to ease. Well, lonely, he had a wife and he already had kids. So you could say it's ego, it's validation, it's low self-esteem. Of course, he would not admit that. How could he be the one to admit that? Just look at the obvious for what it is. Uh, mhm. His behavior was still bad, but it was no longer frightening, alien and frightening. So you'll watch Bodhi while I go to dinner with JB. Jinx nodded, but I get to meet him first and make sure he's not a psycho. You can tell if someone's a psycho upon meeting them. Pretty much, Jinx said. I've known several. And I laughed because he really, really had. There was no shortage of affordable hotels in Fullerton, partially because of the colleges, mostly because of the proximity to Disneyland. But JB had chosen an Airbnb. In his words, he was physically unable not to. It was a haunted mansion. He had forwarded me the listing, and I gasped at the price, nearly $400 a night. From the outside, it looked like any normal house in Fullerton, cute and unassuming. Inside, everything was purple, velvet, and red silk, with low light and a plastic raven with glowing purple eyes, creepy portraits, and crystal balls. There was a haunted gaming room and a totally normal looking outdoor hot tub. That was really the funniest part about the house, the contrast between its spooky interior and suburban exterior. The day JB flew in, I was so excited and nervous, it felt like I was outside my body. I had borrowed a green sundress from Susie and kept sweating through the pits. So I had wads of toilet paper stuffed under my arms. Why, girl, why wouldn't you wear deodorants? You wouldn't even do that when you're going to see this guy. As I dashed around the house, making sure the sterilizer was running with Bodhi's bottle things, digging through the laundry for a clean blankie. When the doorbell rang, I ran to answer and tripped in my strappy heels, face planting on the carpet. Jesus, Jinx cried as I lunged up from the floor like a whale breaching the water, desperate to get to the front door first. I opened the door, knees stinging with rug burn, strands of my hair stuck to my lip gloss, toilet paper trying to climb out of the armpits of my dress, and there he was, just as nervous as me. He wasn't as tall as I was expecting. His shoulders were broad and he was solidly built, like was like if you whacked him in the torso, he would make a good sound. He was wearing a black button-down shirt and jeans and smelled like gum, but it was him. That was the main thing I felt, that I recognized him, that he was who I had been hoping he would be. Come in, I said, gesturing. He was holding a bouquet of tiger lilies, the pink ones with freckles, still wrapped in crackly plastic from the supermarket. He held them out to me. Oh my gosh, I said, and blushed. I felt like he was here to pick me up for a school dance. Is that JB? Jinx boomed from the living room. I led JB in and introduced them. Jinx managed to deliver what looked like a cripplingly strong handshake while still holding Bodhi in his other arm. JB handled it well and called him Sir. I took Bodhi from my dad, even though I was already holding the flowers, and bounced him on my hip. This is Bodhi, I told JB, and JB reached for Bodhi's tiny hand. Then didn't know if he was supposed to. I forget, like, I thought I heard this once that, like, if you're breastfeeding, then not that you can't get pregnant, because there's always a chance. Like, I've heard of somebody getting pregnant while they were already pregnant. Like, it's weird. It's rare, but it has happened. But anyway, um, because I think it was like, why does she had like one black baby and one white baby, and it was like, oh, it was with two different people, but and they were like given birth like months apart. It's so weird. Anyway, the body is weird, but typically, because what I'm saying is she gonna get pregnant again? Like tonight, is she gonna get pregnant again? I mean, oh, thank you, Jerry. For a while, I didn't know if anyone was listening, but yes, you are number one. Thank you. Hmm. Although I guess at that point, well, I mean, I guess they'd be more long distance because he doesn't live there. But I think that Mark would have a right to meet JB too because he'd be around his kid. Oh God, all this stuff with the kids, it's so complex. Okay. Um, I took Bodhi from my dad, even though I was already holding the flowers, and bounced him on my hip. This is Bodhi, I told JB. And JB reached for Bodhi's tiny hand, then didn't know if he was supposed to. Like, can I touch it? Hey there, he said, a little awkward. It was clear he didn't know anything about babies. Let me get these in water, I said, stomping into the kitchen like a giraffe in my heels. I was already reconsidering the shoes. I had assumed JB would follow. Jinx had started talking to him, and I kind of panicked and left him there. I couldn't get my heart rate to a normal speed. I plopped Bodhi in his high chair while I arranged the flowers in a vase. I fished the toilet paper out of my armpits and tried to calm down. I honestly, maybe next we need to read like actually like a romantic, like sexy book, because even though like you would think this has elements, and I mean maybe there will be with this JB guy, but I'm imagining him going into a room. The dad's got like heroin tracked arms. There's like needles on the floor. The baby has a dirty diaper and he's like screaming. And it's just like, uh, uh, where is he even gonna take her on the date? He's not even from there, so where would he? Okay. Evidently, JB passed Jinx's cross examination. And I was so keyed up, I don't even remember saying all of the goodbyes except that I kissed Bodhi about a million times. And then we were out the door, on our way down the stairs. I tripped, twisting my ankle, sounds like me, and went down hard. I knew it was bad the moment I finished falling down the stairs. I didn't even try to get up. Oh shit, JB cried, scurrying down to me. Oh god. I'm okay, I said, even though I knew I was not. I wasn't even positive I could stand. My ankle was screaming. Do you want me to get your dad? He asked. Do you think you need to go to the doctor? I closed my eyes in anguish. I knew I could not go to the fancy restaurant where he'd made a reservation like this. And I was certain Jinx would be able to tell if my ankle was broken or only sprained. He was great with injuries, but I also knew if we went back up there, our chances of having any date at all would drop to zero. I tried to stand and gasped when I put weight on my ankle. JB grimaced. What if, I said, we go to the haunted mansion and just order in? Don't you think you should go to the doctor? JB asked, gesturing at my ankle. If it's broken, it will still be broken tomorrow, I said, and I will cry if we don't get to have this date. Please. Can we please just go to your place and order in? Of course, JB said, obviously, obviously. But he looked worried. You want help walking? I nodded. And he dipped his shoulder so I could grab on while he braced me around the waist. We wobbled out to the parking lot to his rental car. See, here's the thing. What he knows about her, like, she did not need to put on heels for this date. Like, if I was going on a date with somebody that I knew, like, from my OnlyFans, like who likes, like, John likes high heels. So it's like I could see being like, oh, this person I know likes pantyhose. Well, John likes stockings more. But like Jerry, be like, I know that they like pantyhose. I could see wearing the pant. But she doesn't, in her page or her communication with him, it's like he knows that she likes Pokemon. He's just finding out she's like a mom. Like, so if his thing was like, oh, I'd love you to wear like a high heels or bring out heels, I could totally see that. But I feel like there was no reason to just put on something that you clearly aren't even used to wearing and then break your own ankle doing it. Just, I don't know. Maybe not sweatpants, but like, I don't know. What would be a casual, like, it depends on what time of year, because I would say shorts could be cute. I don't know. I nodded, and he dipped his shoulder so I could grab on while he braced me around the waist. We wobbled out to the parking lot to his rental car. When we got to the haunted mansion, JB helped me to the door, then told me to wait while he disappeared inside. And how could I forget? With Terry, I would be wearing boots. With Daryl, I will be wearing Amway gear. Anything. Feel like heels are standard for first date? But what is that supposed to mean though? Like, they don't have to be. Like, you could wear sneakers. Like, doesn't mean you hate the person. You could wear, I don't know, like, because most of what, like, okay. Like, I straight up wear like Crocs at going out or like, you know what I mean? Grocery store or whatever. Because you know what? The back, if I wear like sneaks, the back of my ankle here, where I'm trying to see where you can do, okay, right here. Can you see where there's like a little ball right here? Right there. That will get rubbed and rubbed and rubbed and rubbed and rubbed, and then I get a blisty. So yeah, I just prefer to wear like more looser. Anyway. But what I mean is there's a time for casual shoes. Like, okay, Terry, if you're gonna go on a first date, are you gonna wear a four-piece suit? Are you gonna rent a tux? Like, yeah, okay, a flower dress, but you still don't need to wear heels that you clearly don't know how to walk in. Mm-mm. And if you say, "Oh yes, I would go rent a tuxedo," no, you wouldn't. Like, you probably wouldn't put Kleenex under your armpits and break out the Axe the body spray or whatever guys do. I don't know. See, Deer was okay with sneakers, but I'm just saying I get the blisties. So I've always been like that, even when I ran across country. I have man privilege. What? I'm screenshotting this. You will not live this down. Oh, it still has the heart there, but the man privilege. All right, let's see how their date goes. You know what though? I bet you that they order Chinese, which is what you would do. Uh, what is those periods? What? I feel like, of course, you want the guy probably to feel like the other guys are maybe not jealous of you, but feel like a little more admiring, give you the thumbs up, like, "Oh, that's your day? Oh, nice." Like, you know, you don't want it to be like some like, I don't know, like, but the I was gonna say you don't wanna be like some slob, but you know what? I guess on a first date, no, but sometimes it's like, what if you guys just got done to working together, like painting the house or just like it was a long day of work and be like, you know what? Let's go get some food. And like, who cares? you know? But what I mean is I get the idea of like a nice restaurants. You want it to look impressive because you want him to feel proud to be with you, I guess, you know? Evening gown. No, maybe not an evening gown. the Oscars. Maybe a nice sweater. A sweater with buttons. Okay. Um, when we got to the haunted mansion, JB helped me to the door, then told me to wait while he disappeared inside. When he returned, he was pushing a desk chair with wheels. I plopped into it delightedly, and he gave me a rolling tour. It was very gaudy, as haunted mansions go. There was a black light in the hallway that made eyes on the wallpaper glow. We settled in the sitting room where flat screens hung in elaborate gilt frames were rigged so they displayed paintings that appeared to be moving. I transferred myself onto a velvet settee. You know what? You should have him film something for your OnlyFans. That would be a good idea. If it was me, you're in this weird place. I don't know, wear something black pantyhose, lace. Oh, and then he could stand above you or behind you, right? And get like your feet and your tush. Be like, get this, or get a little back look back. I can't wait to have a photographer. I'll be full Betty Page. I was asked last night, like about like spelling Betty Page wrong for my page. It was spelled right the first time, but it got banned. I've had hundreds of channels banned. For some reason, this one stuck. The one with the misspelling alteration. I was fully expected this one to get banned the next day. That's a terrible idea for a first date. What? OnlyFans pictures? or what? Or Chinese food? Sorry, I got lots. Give him a souvenir to take home. Pictures of your butt up close of the booty hole. Texas Roadhouse. Can you order that in? Are you kidding me? You better believe. You better believe. She sh- she should give him the camera. All right, let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay. I transferred myself onto a velvet settee, and JB grabbed me some ice in a bag for my ankle, then plunked down beside me, and we huddled over his phone trying to decide what to order. Oh, I know what we should get, he said. This is so obvious. What? Wings, he said. I clapped my hands like an excited child. Yes, I cried, wings. Once the business of ordering the food was done, I became keenly aware of him next to me on the couch. I felt like a vampire, mesmerized by the pulse in his throat or something, but we couldn't start making out before dinner. So I asked questions about his flight and work and whether he'd ever been to California before. He had, though not to Fullerton, because duh, why would anyone visit Fullerton? It felt like we were strangers, and I didn't know how to break through into feeling like we knew each other. Your dad is quite intimidating, JB said. I had briefed him on my dad, but it was another thing to experience it in person. Oh no, he did not threaten to cut your dick off, I asked. JB laughed. Now I feel like he was taking it easy on me. Do you ever think about that sort of restrained, almost literary quality of my made up family and just comparing it to my real family? Aren't you ever like, damn, she's a genius? Yeah, didn't you see my review on Goodreads? I laughed. What the fuck is Goodreads? It's like a book review site. It was a joke. I giggled, caught up in a fantasy of other people reading his reviews of our private correspondence, trying to figure out what he was even talking about. Gosh, people love reviewing things, I said, imagining with horror a site dedicated to reviews of OnlyFans accounts. Even dicks, JB said. That was true, I realized. I did rate dicks, but I didn't want JB to think I was like Wang Mangler. What if he was nervous and thought I was some big dick judge? I'm an easy grader, I said. I give them all 10 out of 10. The art is really all in the comparison to the Pokemon and any relevant puns. Oh, JB said, still smiling. Though I could tell he was uncomfortable. And why shouldn't he be? I shouldn't be talking to him about other people's dicks. When the wings came, JB set out all the food on the coffee table so I didn't have to move, and we feasted. The whole time we were eating, I was distracted trying to figure out what would happen next. See, I would think you'd be distracted by the horrible pain in your ankle if you were claiming it was broken, and you should take some anti inflammatory. And N said, non steroidal anti inflammatory drug, such as ibuprofen or something. But that shit gonna swell. I had not calculated any of this because I'd imagined us at a restaurant. I thought my chance to kiss him would be when we walked out to the car after dinner, and if that went well, we'd go to his Airbnb instead of my house. Now I didn't know how exactly a kiss would happen. Is something wrong? JB asked. No, I said. I'm just like plotting how I'm gonna put the moves on you. He laughed, covering his mouth with his napkin. That's a relief, he said, after he finished chewing. I'm not good at making plans like that. I figured I'd try to kiss you after dinner when we walked to the car. That's when I had figured I would kiss you. But now I have no idea, really. JB laughed again. Leave it all up to me, I said. You won't even know what's happening. You'll be like a baby gazelle taken down by a lioness. His eyebrows shot up, and I figured it was now or never, so I leaned over and kissed him, even though I was pretty sure I tasted strongly of buffalo sauce. Ew. My lips met his, and he leaned into the kiss. Well, I guess his probably tastes like buffalo sauce too, but I can't stand buffalo sauce. It's like, what's the point? What do they put in it to make it taste so bad? It's like sour and like sweet. So you think they should take pics for others to enjoy on the very first date? I assure you that's a bad idea. Yeah, I think that he should have an interest in if it was her passion, her job, something that she found really fun, bonding over a hobby, bonding over something creative and be like getting like wild that it's together like like what it could bring out of her that like I don't know like yeah I don't think it's a bad idea. I think Buffalo Alive is a bad idea. Okay. Have you ever seen the documentary about not Hustler, not Playboy, Penthouse? I think it's Penthouse because they also had the We magazine, the OUI magazine. I can't think of the name, but there's a name of a man who founded it. And I seen a documentary where he um was like taking photos of like this woman and then they ended up getting intimate or the intimacy of like this photo shoot. What does that mean? Well, I wish you luck. Like it's obviously meant some kind of sarcasm, but I'm not. Yeah, he also made Caligula, which has that lady that everyone adores. What's her name? Anyway, I can't think of it now. I think she's British. Um, yeah, I mean he was like an asshole and everything, but like Italian, I think. Wore a lot of chains. Anyway, um, I think yeah, there was just a time when I watched a lot of documentaries on like HBO. What are you wishing me luck with? I think that it's erotic to have somebody take sensual photos of you. That's like your lover, like, or as an idea, like, I don't understand. Like, you can shame me for that all you want, but I just not seeing whatever it is that you see that's so off-putting. Yeah. I'm not gonna look up his name. You know what, Terry? You're absolutely right. Taking photos of somebody's in lingerie on the first date is so crude and disgusting. Please tell me more about your fisting shows. Penthouse founder. Now, is the etiquette when you take a lady to a fisting show? Should it be the second date? Bob Guccione founded Penthouse magazine, and there's a picture of him with a button, unbuttoned shirt, and all these gold chains, looking so Italian. American visual artist, photographer, and publisher. A Guccione. Okay, but who was in? Um, Helen Mirren. See, I've never seen Caligula, but I know that he made it. Erotic/drama, 1979. Helen Mirren. But yes. Sorry, Helen, for dragging you into our filthy conversation. But people find her very hot. Moving the goalposts. Moving like the fist entering the ass. Sorry. That's a third date, don't you think? That's when the romance be blooming. Where were we? They were making out. Mhm. Okay. His lips or my lips met his, and he leaned into the kiss, turning to me on the settee. His hands found my rib cage and squeezed. I could feel the strength in his hands and arms, that big chest with its huge ribs, the heat of him. I broke away from the kiss and blinked. The room was spinning slightly. Whoa, I said, and he kissed me again. Uh-oh, did he roofie her? No, I feel like I'd be hesitant with an Airbnb. Like, you'd be like, "What is this crusty stuff?" I'd be like, "Oh, that's just jism left over from the previous, uh, guest that stayed here. Don't mind that." Chapter 22. The next morning, I awoke with the sun streaming down on a massive four-poster bed, my breasts rock hard with milk, as happy as I had ever been in my life. JB was curled around me. I scooted my butt closer to him, remembering the night before. He had carried me in here, me clinging to his front like a koala. I kept my eyes closed and experimentally rolled my ankle. It didn't hurt as much as I feared. I pushed my foot mm, out from under the covers and opened my eyes, peered down at it. It was swollen, and there was a purple bruise on the outside, right below my ankle. It didn't look all that bad, though. I became aware of a buzzing sound. My phone on the nightstand. I grabbed it in time to see Jinx was calling. It went to voicemail before I could answer. You left your baby with a heroin addict, mother of the year. Now, Terry, since you are um, you are the crown etiquette, sir, of this channel. Like, hold on, what are they? Yeah, like the Emily Post. You are the Terry Post of the dating etiquettes of this channel. So, will you inform us on if it is inappropriate on the first day to have your first day milk your boobs? Milk those boobs for the baby. Or not. Please, sir, will you milk this? Mhm. I told him I was spending the night. I figured, no, that's great. Okay. Okay, just don't take pictures of that. uh, I told him I was spending the night. I figured he just wanted to see I would be home, make sure I was okay. But when I opened my phone, I saw there were 6 missed calls and my stomach dropped. Bodie, it's the next day, but it's not 24 hours. So technically, it's still the first day. Was it after midnight? You turn into a pumpkin? Oh no, did something happen to Bodhi? I called Jinx back immediately. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I was still asleep. Is he okay? He's fine, Jinx said, but his voice sounded weird. What happened? I need you to come home, Jinx said. Why? What happened? I'm on my way. Is he okay? I was sitting up now, and JB was awake beside me. There's someone here to do a home inspection for Bodhi's well-being. From the 7:30? I was straight panicking. They weren't supposed to come until Tuesday. Okay, well, they're here now, and your presence is requested. She says if you can't be here in 15 minutes, she'll need to take him with her to her office. Okay, I'll be right there. JB had me back at the apartment in less than 8 minutes. Hey, not bad. Good job, JB. good, good with the driving. I'd rinsed my mouth with water and wiped the mascara from under my eyes, but my hair was a hopeless mess. I had major sex tangle in the back, and I hoped it wasn't too obvious. I was in last night's clothes. Okay, but is there a used condom stuck to like the ass of your your dress? Like maybe take that off. Other than that, you're probably fine. I don't know. Uh, JB started to unbuckle and to walk me in. I stopped him. I don't want to have to explain who you are, I said. But you can't get up the stairs, he said. I can, I said. I'll be fine. I feel like I should. Please, I said. Trust me, it will look way worse if you go in with me. It would be one thing if JB and I had time to come up with a lie, some alternate story as to how we met. I had told Dr. Sharp I didn't have a boyfriend, so I couldn't go into this home inspection with a guy I clearly just fucked and be forced to admit, yeah, he was one of my fans. At least let me help you to the door, he said. Nope, I said, and slid out of his car. Hmm. I'll text you as soon as this is over, I promised, and did my best not to show how much it hurt as I hobbled up the stairs, my heels in one hand. I let myself inside and found my dad with a woman I'd never seen before, sitting together on the pink velvet couch in a large patch of sun. They looked beautiful, God lit. Oh, hello. The woman heaved herself up. She was at least 7 months pregnant and as cute as can be, wearing a black maternity dress printed with white flowers, a white t shirt underneath for modesty. There was a tattoo of a star on the inside of her wrist. I noticed as we shook hands. Are you Margot? My name is Maribel. I'm with Child Protective Services. I'm so sorry I wasn't here, I said. My heart was beating so loudly, it was hard to hear. I thought it was supposed to be Dr. Sharp. Isn't the appointment next week? I looked to Jinx, who was now standing and bouncing Bodhi, who'd begun to fuss. He didn't meet my eye. Well, I don't know anything about Dr. Sharp, and there was no appointment, so I'm afraid you must be thinking of something else. I'm with CPS. We received a complaint of possible neglect and abuse. This home visit is standard procedure. Hopefully, we can go through everything and make sure this is a safe environment for your little guy. I've already walked through the apartment with James here. Are you going to take him? I asked, my voice breaking. That's what Jinx had said, that if I wasn't here in time, she would take him. I had made it, but would she take him anyway? Bodhi was fussing in Jinx's arms. Jinx was bouncing him helplessly. I think he needs to nurse, he said, handing him to me. Oh, of course, Maribel said, and gestured to the couch. I did not want to take her spot, but I knew if I sat on the floor, I'd never be able to get up with my ankle. So I sat and whipped out a boob as discreetly as possible. Today, we're evaluating the home, Maribel said. If we don't find an imminent danger to Bodhi, then he can remain here. I nodded anxiously. So James said you were staying at a friend's house, Maribel prompted. Yeah, I said, afraid of contradicting anything he had already told her. Do you do that a lot? She asked. This was the first time, actually, first night away. The shame was quick and wrenching. I couldn't believe I'd left him here. Mm, that I'd been so selfish. I see, she said in a way that made it clear she didn't believe me at all. Well, I suppose everyone needs a break sooner or later. So I was asking James exactly what you do for a living. He said you have a website. Here we go. Mm, mm, um, I'm no good at explaining it, Jinx said, making wild I'm sorry eyes behind Maribel. Like a content creator. We make TikToks mainly right now. I think eventually we'll branch into YouTube. If she didn't already know, then I certainly didn't want to tell her. But you also have an OnlyFans account, Maribel asked. She already knew. Yeah, I said, almost dizzy with fear. I'm confused. Is this related to the 7:30 evaluation? So you're undergoing a 7:30 eval right now? Maribel asked. I mean, yes, I said. Probably that looked even worse. As part of a custody dispute, divorce? No, paternity, I said. Oh my God, your ankle, Jinx cried. He had just seen it. I texted him that I was spending the night with JB, but I hadn't mentioned that I had fallen down the stairs and we'd never even made it to the restaurant. It's okay, I said, trying to hide it behind my other foot. Did you fall? He asked. Yes, I admitted, in the stupid heels. Had you been drinking? Maribel asked. No, I said quickly. I didn't turn 21 for a few more months, just a klutz. Here's the thing with the CPS, because apparently people on YouTube do that all the time. Like, it's mostly women. So there's like a lot of channels of like women, and they're like, so so a lot of times women like hate irrationally like other women and stuff. And so then if that woman has like kids or a baby, whatever, basically it's an incredibly common thing for women online to call CPS on other women, especially if they go on like Kiwi farms and find like their docs, like their town that they're in, then you can contact their local police or whatever. And but here's the thing, right? And one thing that's common is the CPS being called, and another one is actually animal services saying that the animals are being abused. There's a really high standard on both. Like to take away someone's dog or to take away someone's kid. Like they've been like, this person's cat hasn't been washed in like a month. And they're making YouTube, and it's like, lady, you're crazy. But they'll send them up to send them over there and all that shit, right? Anyway, so from what I know about like these like crazy people online calling CPS on people, yeah, they'll go over to your house and do this, but there's a pretty high bar with taking someone's kid away, and it's not like, well, honestly, if it was Ward saying, yeah, this house is full of heroin and stuff, then maybe. But my assumption is that it's Mark or Mark's mother doing this, and they don't have any reason um with regards to like giving CPS authority wise to take the kid away. Um, Maribel's brow was knotted or knitted. Anyone I realized would think I had been out drinking. My hair was messed up. I was wearing last night's clothes, a sprained ankle, and she knew about the OnlyFans. Jesus Christ, how much worse could this even get? Honestly, people that get their kids taken away, the kids are being abused. Um, and I can go over the different levels of, or not levels, but varieties of abuse there are. But that's how much worse it can get, not what's going on with you. Like, I don't even like to think about some things that happen to kids, but that's where they take the kids away. So tell me about Mr. Bodie, she said. She was clearly trying to be friendly, which I wouldn't have expected. What he likes, what he doesn't like, what's his personality. Mm. Anyone want a cat or two? Some need a home, too many. You're giving away cats. You know what though? My dogs though, I don't think they like Rex. I don't think likes cats. I think he would be like annoyed, but Fila I think would kill it because she's a psychopath, and so I would never let that happen. I would never let her hurt a cat. I have too many. Oh my god, are they kittens? Look, there are people that know like Taylor Swift's cats, like each one not only like by name, by breed. Okay, where was I? I know one of her cats is Meredith. Or is it no, maybe that's just her friend. Shit. No, there has but her cats are adorable though. Okay. Um, oh gosh, I said. No one had ever asked me what Bodhi's personality was before. It seemed like an intricate thing to describe, given that he wasn't talking yet, and all my maternal insight was based on vibes. He's my only baby, so I can't compare him to other babies, but he's very joyful and happy. As I was speaking, Bodhi shat in incredible volume, warm and thick. I could feel it through his diaper against my arm. Oh my god! What? What? Yeah. Tell me about Bodhi. He just took a big crap around my arm. Ew. Do they go that quickly after eating? It seems like you were just feeding him on the couch and now maybe he's nervous. Maybe he does this when he's nervous. Mm. I poop when I'm nervous. Okay. Taylor Swift cats. Mm. I tried to type in Taylor Swift cats and I accidentally wrote cars. And then it has a list of like cars. And like, you guys might be more interested in that, but okay. So, yes, Meredith, Olivia Benson, and Benjamin Button. Okay. There's one that you see more often, like in her TikToks or whatever, apparently. And the other ones they don't photograph as much, but she'll bring them out every once in a while. Okay, so the one on the Person of the Year cover, that was Benjamin. So you see Benjamin a lot, I think. Or maybe that was more unusual. I don't know. Yes, but I'm trying to get the oh, okay, here we go. Olivia Benson and Meredith Grey are Scottish folds. Who the fuck knows what a Scottish fold is? Taylor Swift fans, that's who. And Benjamin Button is a rag doll. Okay. So, Philipper, what kind of cats do you got? You got any Scottish cats? Because the Swifties might buy them. The pet car. Oh, what she got? Oh, for the cars? Okay, let's see. Porsche 911, Audi R8, Cadillac Escalade, Ferrari 458 Italia. These are just, I don't know, maybe these are not real. Because how would anyone know that Range Rovers? There's just a list here of car collection. Maybach S650, Audi R8, Ferrari. It's like a few more, but she does have different houses. So if you have different houses, you might want cars in the different houses. So you don't have to take like an Uber or something. I could see that. Stay on subject, Harry. We're trying to get these cats off. Mixed breeds. Okay. Long hairs? Put a little bow on them. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes. Bodhi just pooped on her. Oh my god. Gross. Uh, I could feel it through his diaper against my arm. I mean, he's a pretty normal baby, I think. Why don't you show me Bodhi's room? Oh, I said, his crib is in my room. I stood and went lightheaded at the pain. I tried not to let it show. We were waiting to go in your room till you got here, Jinx said, in a way that said, you better not have a robot dildo on your desk. Hey guys, you want to know what's on that desk that you see right there? Link below to my other link. What do I call a robot or something? But why can't you have one in your room? Well, yeah, I guess if the baby's in the room too. There are about 40 Porsche 911s. I need that narrowed down more. Oh my god, that's so sad. Oh, her dog and her cat. So you had this woman living with you and the cats, though. So did she have a cat and the cat was like a slut, went out, got knocked up, came back, then kittens splatter everywhere, and now you have to deal with this? Or did you not get that cat fixed? Or did she just bring a bunch of cats or just like start collecting them? And I feel like there's more to the story. How you would acquire that many cats. Sorry, the inside of my ear is like itchy. Because cats can be hoes. Like if you don't get, because they can have a litter, like a big ass litter. Oh my God, Cherry. Oh my God. I'm gonna screenshot that too. What a typical man comment. Banging sluts. Blaming all the other, well, no, because when a cat is in heat, then your cat can smell it if he's not fixed. That's like their instinct, you know? They have like one focus. Anyway. Mhm. And he was right to worry, though I didn't think Maribel would know to be suspicious of the Dyson and its shiny new box sitting in the corner. I had no idea exactly what state I'd left my room in as I was getting ready for my date. And sure enough, as I hobbled through the door, I saw a pair of panties that hadn't made it into the hamper. I bent to scoop them up, my ankle threatening to give out entirely. and I could feel the poop from Bodhi's diaper start to leak down my arm. God! My arm. Oh, God. Oh, that makes me feel sick. Ew. Oh, God. Go wash your arm. Change his diaper. That's what makes you a bad mom. You're just walking around like, be like, excuse me for a moment, because you know that that lady's gonna smell the shit. Like, you should care less about a pair of underwear on the floor. Like, everyone has that. I got underwear in places I don't even know. Like, I have in here anything that change the baby's diaper. Are these And these are his toys? Maribel gestured at a single sad octopus toy on my bed. Each tentacle said the name of a color in both French and English. I had two boys. That was cool cats, very strong personality, but I had them fixed. But they died last year. I live in the house of death. Oh no. Yeah, but those boys didn't get pregnant. She said her one cat couldn't get pregnant. Oh, she lied. I'm so sick and tired of women lying about their cat's abilities to get pregnant. Oh, he has more. Hold on, I said, and dragged out the big plastic bin of his toys from the closet. Every time I moved, I lurched around like a cartoon hunchback. I had no idea if it was a normal amount of toys, wildly too much or not enough. Mainly, I was trying to judge whether she could smell the poop. That's just a closet, Maribel said, peeking into the dark closet. And in that moment, I remembered the toilet paper bundle of syringes I'd stashed there. Oh shit! I'd never thrown them away. They were tucked behind my shoes, boots, and things I didn't wear often. You couldn't see them, and I'd forgotten they were even there. See, that's the kind of shit that you don't have around because a baby will find anything. A baby will grab it, put it in its mouth, get its little baby hands. They can find that. And especially those little boys, they can crawl. They can they'll escape the crib. No, that's not cool. They don't need to take away the kid, but they should probably assign you some kind of is there a such thing as like a mom tutor, like to tutor you how to be a mom? Because I feel like she needs one of those. Like, never leave heroin needles out around the baby. Uh, they were tucked behind my shoes, boots, and things I didn't wear often. You couldn't see them, and I'd forgotten they were even there. My ears were ringing. Doesn't matter if you don't wear them often, the kid could still find it. Is this where you change him? She asked, gesturing at the dresser. The changing pad was on the floor, and the dresser top was bare wood. The fact that she turned her attention away from the closet was a massive relief. But I found myself unable to speak fluently. I usually change him on the floor, I said. I'm paranoid about him rolling off. Not that I would let him roll off or leave him up there or anything. And do you have a boyfriend? Oh my God, that just unlocked a memory. Okay, so when I was a kid, for a long, long time, like years and years and years, I think till I was like an adult even, I had a fear of falling off the bed. In fact, maybe it'll come back at some point, but like I was terribly afraid that I would roll off in my sleep and die. Like, it's funny to visualize, but like roll up in a bank and go and like hit the floor of my head and die. Like I would be afraid to fall asleep. I also had a fear of choking if I wore a necklace, but I could just take a necklace off. Holidays. I'm 52, but not planning or not wanting more kids. I do just need a good woman. You got the cats, though. You don't have time for a woman right now. You got 6 damn cats to take care of. Your house is so full of pussy right now. You should be opening cans of that fancy feast. You should be surrounded by can after can of fancy feast. Where was I? And do you have a boyfriend? Anyone come around? No, I said, my voice wobbling. No boyfriend. She looked at me skeptically. Not seeing anyone even casually, I felt like she could see everything JB and I had done on that massive four-poster bed. My body on top of him, his strong hands squeezing my tits until the milk ran down his arm. Wait, what? His arms. My sudden flash of embarrassment, and then the way he growled with delight. Maybe casually, I admitted. Does he ever spend the night here? Maribel asked. No, I said quickly. I need to do a physical exam of Bodhi to make sure there are no bruises or lacerations or other signs of abuse. Yeah, that's important. That's important, but there's not I don't think there'll be anything. She said brightly. Oh, I said. As we were talking, he definitely pooped. Let me get him changed. That's okay, Maribel said. I can change him. I'll need to look under his diaper anyway. She held out her arms for me to hand over my shitty child. Oh. Cats can go, but a good woman replaced them. At least I can talk to someone and take on dates and go to concerts. Oh, sure. I can see it now. A woman, you go to dinner, you bring her home, you put your arm around her on the couch, and she says, "So, like, why haven't you dated in a while?" And you go, that's because I had to kill six cats and throw them in the trash out back. Oh, okay, so I'm leaving now, you cat murderous bastard. Woman, okay with like how you get rid of those cats. You got responsibilities now, okay? Face facts. They need their collars, they need their catnips, they need those little bell toys on sticks. Had CPS making visit. Hey, why don't you take your gal to see the play Cats? Memories. Oh, her shitty child. Okay. I almost couldn't make myself do it. I followed her as she knelt on the ground to change him on his changing mat, which was awkward given her pregnant belly. There was poop on my arm. I snagged a wipe to clean it off as surreptitiously as I could. It was a major blowout, and ew, and it was clear Maribel didn't have a ton of diaper changing experience. She wasn't using the wipes efficiently and was fighting hard not to gag. I could not imagine this was good. Why had she not allowed me to change him? It was such a weird power move. No, it's not. It's like she needs to see if he's being violated. Like, people take child abuse seriously. I'd not been breathing normally for some time, and there were purple spots in my vision. After she'd finally gotten him clean, she pointed to a bit of a diaper rash. What's this? It's diaper rash, I said. Have you been doing anything to treat it? I told her I'd been putting Boudreaux's butt paste on it and explained he'd begun eating more solids. I thought his poop was more acidic. This is diaper rash, she asked again. Yes, I said. What did she think? That I'd been burning his little butt cheeks with a curling iron? After that, she wanted to talk with me at the dining room table. Jinx took Bodhi. Susie had come out of her room and was watching everything, silent and sad eyed. She and Jinx disappeared into the living room with the baby, and I could hear Sesame Street in the background. I tried to relax. At least we were further away from the closet. And what does Jinx do for work? She asked. He's retired, I said. What did he used to do? I could not see how this was germane to Bodhi's safety, but I didn't want to seem difficult. He was a professional wrestler. Maribel looked up, skeptical. For real? Like with WWE? Actually, he was kind of independent, I said. I knew that made it sound worse, like he wasn't legitimate, but there was no way to explain that he could be independent only because he was so famous. Any substance abuse problems? Maribel asked. I worried I would throw up. Me? I asked, stalling. I didn't know what to do. I knew Ward had told me to lie to Dr. Sharp at the home visit, but this was a different situation. No, your father. Have you had any substance abuse problems? No, I said, but your father never had substance abuse problems, even in the past? Mirabelle pressed. She had to know. There was no other reason for her to be asking, I realized. Plus, there were about 2 decades worth of tabloids and wrestling blogs reporting my dad was in rehab. All she'd have to do was Google him. In the past, yes, I said, but he's in treatment and he's doing really well. So you think he's clean now? Mirabelle asked. I'm going to ask both of you to provide a urine sample. I had no idea if methadone would show up on a drug test. I was guessing it might. He's currently on methadone, I said, so that may show up on his urine test. Oh, so he's on methadone. The tone in Mirabelle's voice changed. How long has he been on methadone? I hesitated. Uh, if she asked to see proof he was in treatment, she'd see the dates. So I couldn't imagine lying. The truth didn't sound great, though. About 10 days. I wanted to explain about him being clean, then his going back, the ER doctors, the vicious cycle of chronic pain, but it felt like I'd swallowed a chunk of ice. 10 days, Maribel asked, even though she'd heard me perfectly fine. I nodded, and she was quiet for a bit, busy writing things down. I stared at the ceiling. It felt like the whole world was ending. Do you use any illegal substances? She asked. No, I said firmly. So you don't use drugs of any kind? No, I stared at her. She stared at me. She was waiting, certain I would crack and confess that actually I did smoke pot now and then. But she could suck it because I absolutely did not smoke pot now and then. You did the damn shrooms. She looked down at her notebook. Okay, then. Let's get the urine test over with, shall we? She said. My pleasure, I said. She took a plastic urine sample cup from her purse, which felt very wrong and way too intimate, and handed it to me. Oh, I did one of those this morning before my blood test. Um, and I don't know why. Like, see, here's the thing: when women pee, they pee like a spray hose. But like, I don't know if it's like nervous or what. But all I could get in that thing. And by the way, it was like a paper cup, and I thought those things used to be plastic, but it was just like this. I mean, I'm sure that's enough. Like this much in the cup. Anyway, I don't know if you guys ever did any of those pee tests, but they're so awkward, and then you gotta, like, hand them your stupid cup. Mm. It's not snowing in North Florida. What are you talking about? Freezing cold. Ugh. It was a relief to be alone in the bathroom. I peed in the cup. Being pregnant, I had peed in an awful lot of cups, and it was much easier now that there wasn't a big belly in the way. When I came out, Jinx was holding his cup and waiting to go in, looking cold with dread. Maribel was by the front door chatting with Susie, who had Bodhi on her hip. Susie looked so small suddenly, like a child holding her baby sibling. When Bodhi saw me, he squealed and reached his little arms out for me, babbling, Mama, Mama, Mama. And I swooped him up and kissed his fat cheek. So, what I'm going to do, Maribel said, is check in with some other members of your family, your mom, your stepdad, and talk to them. Talk to Bodhi's pediatrician, and I have your financial statements. James got me those. She smiled almost too widely, showing her beautiful tiny teeth like pearls. So, with the 7:30, I began. I was hoping it was somehow illegal for her to interfere in that process, some attorney-client privilege or HIPAA thing. At the very least, it seemed like CPS should wait until the accusations were substantiated before they went to Mark and told him Jinx and I were porn-addled drug addicts who ate too much sugary cereal. I can speak to your lawyer, she said. The case will be under your name. I can find it. Oh, I said, my heart sinking. Okay, who filed the complaint against me? I asked, if you don't mind me asking. That's confidential information, unfortunately, Maribel said. We'll get your urine test back and we can go from there. One thing I can tell you is that Jinx will need to get off methadone in order for Bodhi to stay in the home. Oh, wow, really? I was not expecting that. But in California, I think that there's a way to find out. I think there's a way. Like if you like because doing this can be a form of harassment. And if you're found to do this like just to harass a person, um like harassment is not okay. Like the legal standard of what they consider that. So I think that there are ways of finding out who did it. I mean, obviously they want it to be anonymous to a point because it's for the sake of the child. Like you don't want someone to be scared like, "Oh, if they find out it's me, I'm in trouble." But like I think like if I feel like I've heard of it happening where if you go through a legal process, you can find out. Yeah. Yeah. You did one 3 weeks ago, yeah. Well, my mine's not for like drugs or anything. Um, I want to go to a hormone doctor, but they're sending me to a rheumatologist. Because like of my depression and everything, um, they're looking for any way to help me. So, the way I figure this rheumatologist, that's like the first step before you can go to like I don't even know what they call like a hormone doctor, like endocrinologist. So, um, just seeing these different doctors so they can run different tests. And I don't want to say, hopefully, there's something wrong with me. And that way I can be fixed and be happy and normal. But really, that's why it's tests so that I can get more tests from doctors and, you know, maybe get some help. Unfortunately, I think that my hormones are good and I'm healthy. I just find life very hard to cope with. At least mine, you know. But where was I? Okay. Oh, he needs the methadone's an issue. Okay. Uh, but methadone is a treatment. Or wait, all right, hold on. Wait, what? I said he just got on the methadone. It's our policy that caregivers should be clean and able to pass a drug test in order for the child to remain in the home. It was creepy how she kept calling it the home. But methadone is a treatment for substance abuse. Why would you want people with substance abuse problems to stop receiving treatment for those problems? What if they relapse? It's policy, Maribel said, and we don't require they stop treatment. In fact, he will have to show proof of being in some kind of treatment, usually a 12-step program. I had done all this research when we got Jinx on the methadone in the first place. So I said, but why, when methadone has a success rate of 60 to 90% and 12-step programs have a success rate of between 5 and 10%? Why would you insist people adopt the less successful, less science backed treatment option? These were the longest sentences I managed to speak the whole time. In the eyes of the California court system, methadone is just another name for heroin, she shrugged. But it's not, I said. And yet it is, she said, smiling confidently. Bodhi squealed and reached out, grabbing at Maribel's sleeve. Sorry, I said, trying to detach his tight little fist from under her t-shirt. He's cute, she said, a little sadly, like she already knew I would lose him. Look at it this way. When his urine test comes back, your father will test positive for opiates. They could be methadone or they could be heroin. We have no way of knowing the difference. But you do have a way of knowing because you have paperwork stating he is in a methadone treatment program, I said. I knew the last thing I should do was get heated, but this was maddening. He could also be using. Lots of people on methadone continue to use. His doctor said the methadone blocks the euphoria of the high, I said. Doesn't stop people from trying, Maribel said. Then Jinx was behind me, holding out his pee cup. Everything okay? He said. This looks great, Maribel said as she accepted his pee and put it in her purse. Okay, it wasn't a purse, it was like a tote bag. She didn't even check to make sure the lid was on tight, just popped it in a Ziploc bag and tossed it in. We'll be in touch, she said, like this was a job interview. And I heard Mark's voice in my head. Words can be made hollow, and once they are hollow, anything can be done with them. Chapter 23. Okay, who do you think made the CPS call? It could be a wild card. It could be Susie. Or it could be um what's her name? Wang Mangler as like a jealous like OnlyFans strategy. I don't know. Oh, the mother-in-law. Hi, John. There you are, Mark's mother. Okay, let's see. Jinx and I spent the next hour going over Maribel's visit in micro detail, trying to reassure each other that everything would be okay. We debated who'd called in the complaint, and I figured it had to be Mark. There was really no way of knowing. What I'm worried about is your drug test, Jinx said. My drug test, I asked. Why? Because of the mushrooms, he said. I mean, I don't know if they test for them or not. Oh, God, I said. The mushrooms had not even occurred to me. Oh, no. Oh, God. It's okay, Jinx said. Jesus, you didn't realize? No, I didn't think about that at all. That feels like forever ago. Can it still show up? Don't panic, Jinx said. WWE didn't test for mushrooms, so CBS might not either. We Googled and the results were confusing. There were all different kinds of P tests for different things. Finally, we thought to look up how long mushrooms stayed in your system. And with a urine test, it showed up for only 1 to 3 days. So even if they did test for mushrooms, I should be in the clear. Hair follicle tests were a whole other story, and we both thank God I hadn't been asked for one. I should be okay. Somehow, I didn't really feel any better. I don't know what to do, I said. Let me see that ankle, Jinx said, and patted his lap for me to swing up my leg. Wiggle down here so you can bend your knee. I scooted down the couch, Bodie on my chest. He was in a wonderful milk drunk mood at least. Jinx examined my foot, running his fingers over the tendons until he found the place that made me wince. He explored the bones on the top of my foot, but none of that hurt. I think it's a sprain, he said, finally looking up. Oh, hey, why are you crying? I shrugged, my chin crumpling. I really didn't know. It might have been that my body didn't have another way of processing so much adrenaline. I couldn't tell how bad everything was. I didn't know if I would lose Bodhi, if I was going to have to quit OnlyFans. I felt guilty for spending a night on my own, for sleeping with JB, for thinking it was okay that I was allowed to be young again for just one night. The needle's in my closet. I'm a bad person, I gasped. No, Jinx said. No, honey, you're not a bad person. I closed my eyes. I couldn't trust him. He was a bad person, too. Why don't you repent for sleeping with a married man? Apologize to the wife. If you do something bad, try to make good. Mm. Jinx left for Rite Aid to buy me an ankle brace, and I went to my closet, gathered the bundle of needles. Mhm. Wedged them deep in the diaper trash, then hobbled outside, taking the whole bag with me to the dumpster while Susie watched Bodie. I sat down on the curb and called JB, the sun helping to relax some of the muscles in my back. The crows were calling back and forth across the parking lot, arguing from the trees. Hey, how are you doing? Everything turn out okay? He asked, his voice so warm and easy. Not really, I said. What's going on? He asked. I didn't want to get into the details. It all felt so terribly shameful. Should I come over? He asked. No, I said. I knew he had only a few hours before he'd have to head to the airport. We made tentative plans to have lunch with my dad, but I couldn't imagine him and coming over now. I felt like I'd throw up. The idea of seeing him and being excited and happy was almost grotesque. I can't have lunch. Oh, he said. I could hear the disappointment in his voice. JB, I said. I had so much fun last night, but I think we should stop seeing each other. Oh my god, JB. She just she just sleeps with you and tosses you out like a booty call. What? At least for now. I'm in a really bad situation. I haven't gone into it with you. Mark, Cody's father, is suing for custody, and I've been undergoing this whole investigation. And Child Protective Services came by today. Someone reported me for neglect. I broke off, my voice cracking. It burned having to admit all this to him. Oh, Margot, I'm so sorry, JB said. I just really need to focus on my shit right now, I said. There isn't room in my life for romance, even if I wish there was. There was a pause. Then I heard him sigh. I wish I could see his face. What? I asked. I was going to say, couldn't I help? Couldn't I come over and offer moral support? Or, I don't know. It's just, JB, I'm fucking up. Bad. I need to focus and do the right thing and be an adult. I left unsaid that I didn't think JB could offer me any help. He was awkward as hell just meeting the baby. It wasn't like he could hold Bodhi while I called Ward or went to the bathroom, and I didn't want him there. I knew it was irrational, but it felt like spending the night away from Bodhi had caused Maribel to come. If that's what you want, JB said finally. It's what I need, I said, at least right now. I wasn't sure it would get any better in the future either. My mind snagged on that moment, talking about my dick ratings, the wariness that had come into his face. How would it ever work between me and JB? What guy would be able to tolerate my phone constantly buzzing with pictures of other guys' dicks? We might lie to ourselves for a little while and pretend it could work. But how could it? I didn't know if it was better to say all this or let it be unspoken. I guess this is how some guys feel who are dating like lady proctologists. Are those the are those the ones that put the finger in the butt? Like, yeah, she texts him in 6 months. Hey JB, I'm 6 months pregnant. I'm sorry, I said. This is going to be one of those things I regret. Then why are you doing it? He asked, really and truly angry now. He feels used. Good, I thought. Get angry at me, hate me, boo, and set me free. When we hung up, I hunched over like I'd been stabbed and stayed there, remembering how, after we finished making love, we had scampered into the backyard naked and slipped into the steaming water. I worried it wasn't good for my ankle, but I didn't care. I didn't want to consider it. The stars were bright above us, and we both groaned as we relaxed into the hot tub. You're sparkling, he said, gesturing to the mist around us. The steam makes it look like your skin is sparkling, like you're a goddess. I laughed, delighted. I think maybe you are, he said. That's the only rational explanation. Explanation for what? I asked. And then kissed him so he couldn't answer. I'm trying to fix my blanket. Sorry. Ow. Mm. Of course, I didn't get to be that happy. Why had I ever thought I deserved such a thing? Is this what she thinks it's like to be young, to like not have cares, to not have to care about anything? Maybe that's why like when I think of like childhood, I think of like horrible, terrible fear. Like, the horrible poverty, abuse, not knowing like it, I mean, obviously you could go on and on, but basically I cannot associate being young with anything like that. Ow, my arm hurts. There's a movie I want to see. It's called The Florida Project because I think it has like it deals with poverty. And my oh, thank you, Terry. What? No, but I guess what I'm saying is, so maybe it, but then again, she had a single mother. Her father was like in and out of the picture, so it wasn't like her childhood was that easy either. Because that's what I think is if you associate that with being young, is it because that's what it was like for you when you were younger? Meaning her, meaning Margot. Because I just think life in general, there's always going to be like responsibility. If anything, it's like what she associates with being young, like it's like being retired. Think more of it like yourself, focus on your health, your well-being. Um, Jinx returned. You are so amazing. Thank you, Wally. You are very sweet. Jinx returned with an ankle brace and charmingly orange meals for them both. Margot felt better with the brace, more secure. Do you think I should quit my OnlyFans? She asked, opening her bag of sun chips. It's not illegal to have an OnlyFans, Jinx pointed out. I don't think they can make you quit. It's not illegal to be on methadone either, Margot said. What are we even going to do? You can't get off the methadone. Oh, Jinx said, suddenly hesitant. I thought that part was easy. I think I should move out. He looked so normal as he said it, as though he weren't pushing her off a boat and into the freezing water. If I'm not living here, he continued, they don't get to say what course of treatment I pursue. And the methadone, Margot, I feel really hopeful. I don't want to quit. Margot nodded rapidly, tucking her hair behind her ears. Totally, she agreed, but she didn't know how to frame it, how to say it. She had no excuse for how badly she wanted him to stay. Where would you go? She asked finally. Somewhere close, at least for now, he said. I want to stay close by the clinic, but eventually, I'll probably have to start working again. Margot nodded, unable to speak. It wasn't that she thought Jinx would live with her and Bodhi forever, but what would she do without him? The idea of continuing OnlyFans without Jinx felt scary somehow. Just her and Bodhi and her garden of penis worms? She couldn't bear the idea of it, and she felt certain deep in her gut that if she kept doing the OnlyFans, Maribel would find a way to take Bodhi. She could picture her smiling as she lifted Bodhi out of her arms. But how would Margot make a living? How who would watch Bodhi? She was back in the same predicament she'd always been in. And depending on whether there was a trial or not, she might not even have any savings. What's a career where you can make good money without going to school? She asked Jinx. Don't do something hasty, Jinx urged. I feel like if it were that clear cut, she'd have said you had to quit. You should be good on the P test. The mushrooms won't show up. They can't take him, Margot. You haven't done anything wrong. But Margot knew the world was perfectly willing to punish you no matter what you had done. What's a career you can make good money without going to school? See, you need training. You could be naturally good at something, but even then, you could always get better with practice. But that's the thing. Just it's like making needlepoint. You could become like an expert, like knitter, needle pointer, make these wonderful crafts, and but because you're practicing and practicing on your own, even while you're watching like Big Brother or something, um, TV, But so it's like, what can you be good at? Well, first of all, school. She's not banned from school. She just can't go to that school. She could go to another school. You could go to school your whole life. Um, it's like, but like, look at like Terry. Terry's really good with like driving because he practices. Although, and also apparently landing planes. Yeah, she could be a Formula One driver. Exactly. What the hell is Formula One? How about Formula Two? She drafted the announcement to her fans that night. She explained she was going back to her home planet and that she missed them all terribly, and that she'd sculpted exact replicas of each of their penises out of tinfoil and planned to eat one a day until they were all gone. Yeah, I feel like she doesn't belong in any kind of creative writing because that's just not funny. She let her cursor rest over the post button. She wouldn't do it tonight. There were too many unknowns. She needed to come up with a plan. She thought about Ward saying the state of California would rather a kid be able to eat and have a mom who sells nudes than not eat. She would need to devise some other way of making money and figure out childcare now that Jinx would be moving out. She pulled an old three-ring binder from her shelf, the one she'd used for Mark's class, and clicked it open, dumped everything out. She would do this the way she had done everything else. The more she read, the more the plan cohered in her mind. If she quit the OnlyFans, Mark wouldn't have any grounds on which to take Bodhi. They wouldn't have to go to court. She could use the 30 grand in her account to launch herself on another career. She could hire Susie as a nanny. She was an hour deep into research on how to become a real estate agent when her phone buzzed with a message from JB. Thinking of you, it said. She set it down without answering. That was exactly the problem. She couldn't afford to be thinking of him. Dr. Sharp's in home observation was 3 days away, and Margot had to be ready. You're going to take the California real estate exam. It's quite difficult, and it's also very competitive. It's not like it's easy to be a real estate agent and actually make money and get clients. It can take years. Word of mouth. You still need training. I mean, ugh. If that's what you want to do, okay. I don't know about racing. How about squirrel racing? How about Phil Flipper Phil? I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I don't know if that's German. How about you start on your YouTube page cat racing? You have your cats go, and we'll bet on which cat is going to win. First, you got to make a little cat maze or something. It was at first extremely weird having Dr. Sharp in her apartment, like seeing your second grade teacher at the grocery store, and then suddenly not weird at all. What's all this? Dr. Sharp asked, gesturing to Jinx's moving boxes. Margot knew she'd promised Ward that she'd lie to Dr. Sharp about Jinx's addiction, but if she was quitting the OnlyFans and he was moving out, she didn't see any point in that. There was something wonderfully freeing about being upfront. She explained the CPS visit, and Dr. Sharp confirmed that it had not been triggered by the 7:30. I figured, Margot said, then explained Jinx's relapse and treatment, that CPS required he get off methadone. And we want him to succeed. We want evidence-based, effective medicine. And that means staying on the methadone. So he has to move out. Margot shrugged. I see, Dr. Sharp said. She didn't seem sympathetic, but she didn't say it in a judgy way either. They had settled at the dining table. Bodhi was in his high chair, and Margot was feeding him pureed yams.
I've decided to quit OnlyFans, Margot said. I haven't told Mark yet, but I don't see a way forward. I can't put Bodhi at risk like this. So you feel that the work is harming him? Dr. Sharp asked. Margot snorted. No, but I'm not willing to have CPS come in here and mess everything up whenever they want to. She shivered, imagining Maribel holding out her arms for Bodhi. The wistful way she said he's cute. I see. So then what are you thinking work-wise? Dr. Sharp asked. This was much closer than Margot had ever sat to Dr. Sharp, and she could see the downy hairs on her plump cheeks. They made Dr. Sharp seem more human. She was, after all, just another woman, probably a mother herself. I have a fair bit of savings, Margot said, and I was thinking of getting my real estate credential. She liked how solid and grown up that sounded. When she told Jinx he'd been exasperated with her, you will hate it, he spat. All those phonies. Margot, no, this is not for you. At least Dr. Sharp didn't react like this. She merely nodded and wrote something down in her notes. Margot wiped some yam off Bodhi's face. He was squealing and gibbering, so happy. He loved yams. She'd started doing baby signs with him, and he touched his fingers together in the sign for more. You want more, she cried, laughing. I don't have any more. Bodhi signed frantically. More, more. Okay, all right. You want some banana? She asked. Margot peeled the banana and smashed it in a little blue bowl with a fork while Bodhi shrieked like a chimpanzee with delight and impatience. She'd been feeding him the yams with a little spoon. Most of the time, she let him feed himself with his fingers, and she didn't know if this was bad or good, but it was her secret belief that it couldn't hurt him, and it might even help his fine motor skills. This might get messy, she said to Dr. Sharp. He loves to feed himself, and I think it's good for him to have to use his hands. She gave him the bowl, and they both watched Bodhi, who looked comically excited as he steered his hand down into the banana and then slammed it up into his mouth. It really was amazing how consciously he had to manipulate his hands, like he was working an arcade claw machine, every movement jerky and a little askew. Really makes you more impressed with deer, Margot said. How's that? Dr. Sharp asked. She had taken off her blazer at some point. Oh, what with the walking from birth and all, or like snakes that don't need any parenting at all. They hatch and say peace out and go try to be a snake. They're programmed to know what to do. I wonder what it's like acting completely on instinct like that. That's an interesting question, Dr. Sharp said. She didn't write anything down this time. She wasn't saying it was interesting that Margot had said that, like she was evaluating her. She just seemed genuinely interested in what being a baby snake might be like. They were two women imagining being baby snakes. Once Bodhi was good and coated in goo, Margot stripped him down and put him in the bath, dumping his toys around him. Dr. Sharp sat on the closed toilet while Margot knelt by the tub. Margot had worried she'd been awkward with Bodhi in front of Dr. Sharp, the way she'd been with Maribel, all her words vanishing, everything coming out wrong. But she found out that it didn't matter if Dr. Sharp was watching them. She was giving Bodhi a bath like she always did because Bodhi expected her to. And Bodhi was more important to her than Dr. Sharp in an almost physical way. Dr. Sharp stayed while Margot got him out of the tub and changed him into a fresh diaper and jammies. So, in general, at this point, I would nurse him to sleep, she said, mainly to warn Dr. Sharp she was about to whip out a boob. That's fine, Margot, Dr. Sharp said. I think I've seen enough. You've been so generous with your time. I'll get out of your hair and let you get Bodhi settled. Oh, Margot said, "Oh, okay." She trailed Dr. Sharp out to the foyer. Thanks so much, Dr. Sharp said. I know it's a lot to be observed in your house with your child. That's a lot of trust. Thank you for letting me be a part of your evening. Oh, Margot said, of course. She almost said any time. And then Dr. Sharp was gone. It felt almost too easy. Margot worried she might have done something wrong, though she couldn't think what it might have been. She went to bed wondering about mother snakes and baby snakes, and whether snakes feel love for each other or if they draw that intense pleasure from some other aspect of their nature, maybe from killing. She imagined a snake philosopher telling his snake students about the greatest good and how everyone knew, of course, it was killing. She'd have given anything to have someone express these thoughts to, but she knew it wouldn't be fair to call JB, even if talking to him would be more wonderful than anything. Who cared about sex, really, when what you needed was someone to talk to in the dark? She thought about whether her dad had said about women and why he always ended up cheating. People are all so lonely, even when they do horrible things. It often comes down to that. If only you take the time to understand them, it seems like that should mean the world could be better, that people could help each other like Jesus did. And yet, that's not what happens. That hardly ever seems to happen at all. She couldn't help thinking that if she went into real estate and things calmed down, and if her phone wasn't buzzing with dicks and her days weren't spent in cosplay lingerie, she and JB could try dating for real. But it was difficult to picture. Whenever Margot thought of herself as a real estate agent, she imagined her body with someone else's face pasted on it, the scale slightly off, so the head was too big like a Barbie. She tried imagining a JB doll grasping the Margot doll with his stiff arms, kissing her with his numb plastic lips. All right, that is the end of chapter 23. We'll pick it up on chapter 24 tomorrow. Actually, I think we're going to finish this book tomorrow and start a new book. Sorry. Because, okay, we're on page 259 and there are 294 pages. So, yeah. Yeah, I think we finish tomorrow. What did you think of that? Okay, hold on. Let me get up. Ugh. I have a movie script in American East Writers Guild in New York waiting to be picked up. It is a movie, one of three series. You know what? It's important to have a creative outlet. Everyone should be creative every day. I think it's good for your health. And creativity is like the more that you do it, the more it comes. You don't run out. It's like there's just more, you know? See. I write songs as well.
Well, that's nice. Jerry, how is it going writing your working on your comics? I know you that's a big goal for yours this year. You getting maybe like a notebook and jotting some things down. I've been trying to like at the end of the day, throughout the day, write down as I do things like on my channel, like uploading like some older videos, I'll write that down. I tried to do a short today. Like I thought you could just upload to short, but you can't do that. Like I don't know how to make one, but I thought maybe it'll make YouTube happier with me if I made one, but I don't know how to do that. Um, but yeah, I have been trying to um put things more, write things down more. So um I had an idea. I can't remember now. Do you know what though? If you want to write for like movies and stuff, you should watch Severance because I feel like Severance is so original. I just love it, and I just can't wait for the next episode and the next season of Interview with the Vampire. You know, I watched last season. John recommended. John gives good recommendations. The show Night Agent, and I looked it up in season 2. Comes out January 23rd, so it's only like a couple days. So I'll be watching that. But anyway, watching different shows like original stuff can get your mind thinking like, oh, I have an idea, and then just like write it down, right? Jot, try to jot things down. I like looking back at my notebook and be like, oh, look what I did. Like today, I can write down I did my blood test. Mm, Um, yeah, so I love you so much. I can't wait to finish this book with you tomorrow and look for which next book that I pick. See if I finish that tomorrow with enough time to spare, and I'll start a next book tomorrow and surprise you. Or it'll be what's tomorrow's? Tomorrow is Wednesday, or it'll be Thursday. Either way, I have to go get my Applebee's. I'm so hungry. I love you so much.